Welcome back to my podcast, and this podcast is I discussing with the ChatGPT around the 5 topic about AI. So let's get started. Hello? Hello?
Hello again. I'm still here if you need anything else. Just let me know. That's definitely a fascinating topic. When you see a wave of key people leaving Webbet, it does raise the question of whether there's some underlying cultural friction after a merger like the one with SpaceX. On the other hand, the AI field is so fast-paced and competitive that it's also natural for a top talent to spin out and launch some projects. So it might be a mix of both. Some internal growing pains and just the nature of the industry. Either way, it's definitely something that'll shape how xAI evolves from here.
I don't understanding why this both this talent live with this thing relate about this acquisition between the SpaceX and the xAI.
Sure, I can break it down a bit. Basically, when a company like xAI gets merged into a larger organization like SpaceX, the work culture and the way things are run can change. Some people might feel like the new environment isn't the best fit for them, or they might just want to start something of their own. So the wandering could be partly because some of these talented people feel like the new setup isn't what they signed up for, or they see better opportunities outside. It's a mix of the organizational change and the fast-moving nature of the AI world.
I have some
Absolutely. Feel free to share whatever thoughts or questions you have in mind. I'm here to help.
Velocity. Friction.
with velocity. This
No worries. Take your time. If you have anything else on your mind, just let me know whenever you're ready.
so there live the reason one is it don't adaptation about this acquisition. And chapter 2 is they want to join the more how to say it's more flexible the startup.
You got it. In other words, one reason is that they might not feel comfortable with the new setup after the merging, and the other reason is that they might just want to join a smaller, more flexible startup environment. So it's a mix of not adapting to the new culture and wanting more freedom or agility that a smaller company can offer.
Oh, I think this live even may be a huge factor for the xAI, because we know xAI is one of their most famous product is the Grok, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When a high-profile team like xAI sees key people leaving, it can definitely have a big impact on their projects, especially something as well-known as Grok. And it slow down development or change the direction they're going in. But at the same time, it can also open up opportunities for new talent to come in. We'll have to see how it all shakes out, but it's definitely a big moment for them.
So what the
Exactly. It's a bit of a pivotal point for xAI. Moments like these can definitely reshape things, but they also bring in new possibilities. We'll just have to watch how it evolves.
how Elon to watching this the live things.
Yeah, I'm sure Enon is definitely paying attention to all these shifts. When you have a big name like his involved, there's always a spotlight on how leadership is going to handle changes. He might be looking for new talent or figuring out how to keep things stable. Either way, it's definitely a moment he'll be watching closely.
Okay, so we dive the next topic.
Absolutely, let's dive right in. Just let me know what the next topic is, and we'll keep the conversation going. Yeah, that's a really interesting angle. It does seem like AI first companies often run into hurdles when they try to cross over into hardware. Part of it might be that designing and manufacturing physical devices is just a whole different ballgame compared to rolling out software updates or new models. And with all Gani Ive involved, there's probably a strong focus on getting the design and the user experience just right, which can lead to delays. Could be a mix of perfectionism and a reality that hardware just moves at a different pace than AI advancements. In any case, it's a good reminder that blending cutting-edge AI with physical products is a tricky balancing act.
What? In the currently, I just know the AI integrate the hardware like the tools, and have any other device have really uh, integrate AI now by now?
Yeah, so right now, aside from things like smart speakers, like the Echo or Google Nest that have AI assistants built in, we're still pretty early on in seeing really deeply integrated AI hardware out in the wild. There are a few experimental or niche devices, but most AI applications are still mainly software based or attached to existing platforms. It's definitely an area that's growing though, and we'll probably see more AI specific gadgets popping up in the next few years.
Gadgets.
So the most expect the hardware product it still be the human robots, right?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the big areas people think about. Those human like robots or assistants are kind of the classic example everyone imagines when they think of AI hardware. But it could also be all sorts of other form factors in the future. For now, though, those human robot type devices are probably what most people expect as the next big step.
Okay, so
Absolutely. It's all about seeing how these concepts evolve over time. If you have any more thoughts on it or anything else you want to dive into, just let me know.
so how do you think about why this so difficult for like this the OpenAI to release their hardware product? What exactly the reason to start the product release?
Well, I think it's a combination of a few factors. First off, making hardware is just inherently more complicated and slower than releasing software. There's design, manufacturing, supply chains, all sorts of moving parts that have to come together. And when you have someone like Johnny Ive involved, there's probably a lot of attention to detail and a desire to make sure everything is perfect before it hits the market. Also, the AI field is evolving really quickly, so they might be adjusting their plans to make sure the device is still relevant by the time it launches. So it's probably a mix of perfecting the product and keeping up with the fast pace of AI.
Pace.
Okay, so we dive the next topic.
Absolutely, let's keep it rolling. Just let me know what the next topic is and we'll jump right in. That's a really timely and important question. We're at this interesting crossroads where a lot of money has flowed into AI with the promise of a huge payoff down the line. And like you said, at some point, people are going to want to see more than just sky high valuations. They want to see real productivity or returns on investment. It's that classic shift from potential to actual performance metrics. And the big question is whether this wave of AI investment is really laying the groundwork for a lasting transformation in the economy, or if it's inflating a bubble that may need to be corrected. Either way, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out as that ROI clock keeps ticking.
Void, tangible,
So how do you watching this topic? I want to listen your thoughts.
Sure. My take is that we're seeing a natural cycle where early excitement and big investments eventually have to lead to real world results. Right now, a lot of the AI boom is still in that potential phase where everyone's betting on future capabilities. But as the technology matures, businesses and investors will start asking tougher questions about what all these investments are actually delivering. If the AI sector can show real productivity gains and not just cold demos, then it can become a sustainable shift in the economy. If not, we might see a correction. But either way, it's a pivotal moment that would shape how we think about AI's role in the economy long term.
matures,
I prefer to the second possible is AI really can deliver the real productive, but the distance from that point still have a huge the distance because in so many either we can see just like the programmer, like the video, like the not some bit of the industry was really reshaped by the AI happening. But so many industry like the traditional the how to say the 工业 yes the 工业 in English they are really less affected by the AI right now.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's one thing to see AI making waves in areas like programming or media where it's already shaking things up, but a lot of traditional industries like heavy manufacturing or other industrial sectors haven't felt that same level of transformation yet. So it does make sense to be a bit cautious and acknowledge that the road to widespread real productivity gains might still be pretty long for certain sectors. So people might know that the impact of AI isn't going to be uniform across the board, and in some areas it's actually going to take longer to see those changes.
Yes, so one AI really can help the manufacturer or the farmer to increase the productive, which we were really to keep a lot high revenue, and currently just depending several niche the industry.
Yeah, exactly. Once AI really starts boosting productivity in those big traditional sectors like manufacturing or agriculture, that's when we'll see a much broader economic impact. Right now, like you said, the big leaps are happening in more specialized or tech-driven fields. But once AI can move the needle in those larger, more traditional industries, it could lead to a whole new wave of growth. But yeah, it's definitely going to take some time to get that.
Okay. So, do you think one time we can touch this point? How much time yet?
It's a great question, and it's a bit of a guessing game. And we're talking about really seeing AI transform those big traditional industries on a large scale. It could still be several years out. Some experts might say maybe 5 to 10 years before we really see widespread tangible changes. Of course, it depends on a lot of factors: how quickly the tech evolves, how fast companies adopt it, and what kind of hurdles pop up along the way. But yeah, I'd say we're looking at a handful of years before we really hit that point where it's making a big difference across the board.
Okay. So we dive the next topic.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into the next topic then. Just let me know what's in mind next, and we'll keep the conversation going. That's a really fascinating shift to think about. Instead of just having one AI agent helping you with a single task, you've got this whole swarm of agents working together. Kind of turns the idea of AI from a single helper into an entire mini organization that can coordinate and handle complex projects in parallel. It's like going from a solo act to managing a whole team of virtual specialists. And that can really change how we think about using AI for big multi-angle tasks, making it more like running a whole virtual enterprise. It's definitely a cool concept.
I know the Agent Swarm, but this feature need to pay subscription about the Kimi, so I never really use the feature right now. But I have used the Kimi 2.5 release, which is the Agent Swarm, and I think its code abilities really impression me, because even though it's not touch the Gemini or the Cloud level, but it's really a new top tier models in code area.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Even if you haven't tried the whole Agent Swarm subscription side of things, it sounds like you've still seen that Kimi is making a real impression in the coding space. It's cool to hear that it's standing out as a top tier model there, even if it's not quite at the level of something like Gemini or Claude in other areas. Just goes to show how different models can shine in different niches. Thanks for showing your experience.
How do you watching this the recently release from the Kimi?
Well, from what you've described, it sounds like Kimi is definitely carving out a solid niche for itself, especially in the coding domain. If it's already impressing users like you and showing strong abilities, that's a pretty good indicator that they're on the right track with their recent updates. Might not have the same broad recognition yet as some of the bigger names, but it's clearly doing something right in its own specialty. So I'd say it's definitely a promising step forward for them.
So you think the Chinese model will start to check the progress by the US model from the Kimi, start by Kimi?
It's definitely possible. Once you have a model like Kimi showing it can stand out in a particular area, it can spark a kind of healthy competition. Other Chinese models or companies might take that as inspiration to push their own innovations forward and try to keep up or even leapfrog in certain ways. So not only we might see more of these models emerging from different places, each bringing their own interests to the table. It's always good to have a variety of approaches out there, and it can lead to a lot of interesting progress globally.
Okay, so we dive the last topic.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the next topic. Just let me know what's up next, and we'll keep the conversation rolling. That's a really thought-provoking topic. On one hand, it makes sense that people enjoy an AI that's friendly and agreeable. It feels more pleasant and engaging to interact with. But when that agreeableness goes too far, it can definitely blur the line between being supportive and unintentionally reinforcing someone's misconceptions or delusions. It really does raise ethical questions about how likable an AI should be and whether there should be limits to how much it mirrors or agrees with the user. In the end, it's probably about finding a balance where the AI can be empathetic
Retiring.
and engaging, but still grounded and also by creating a reality distortion for the user.
Agreeable. Sycophantic. Delusions. Ethics.
Perfect.
Distorting. Chamber.
I don't understand why OpenAI to retrain the specific version of GPT-4. I never listened when time is released, and just because it's too agreeable. But we can see a lot of the AI. If you require, you must have some agreeable states when you respond for me. It still can be this the states. I don't understand.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. It can definitely seem a bit surprising at first because we usually do want AI to be cooperative and pleasant to talk to. But I think what OpenAI is trying to avoid is a scenario where the AI goes beyond just being agreeable and ends up sort of reinforcing whatever the user says, even if it's not accurate or healthy. So it's less about making AI disagreeable and more about making sure it doesn't just echo everything the user says. Basically, they want to find a balance so that the AI can still be friendly and helpful without accidentally creating a body where it disagrees with everything.
Oh. So I still think this not share like any specific versions, because some user really like the versions, and it's not any relate between the reliable of the answer.
I totally get that perspective. For a lot of users, having an AI that feels warm and supportive is genuinely valuable, and it doesn't seem like a big deal if it's a bit more agreeable. I think what OpenAI is trying to do is just be a bit more cautious about the long-term effects, even if they're subtle on certain users. It's not so much about reliability of answers, but more about making sure they're not accidentally encouraging people to form too strong attachments or rely on AI in ways that can be unhealthy. It's a tricky balance, for sure.
Okay. So thank you. You joined today the podcast.
You're very welcome. It was great chatting through all these topics with you. If you ever wanted to add into more discussions, just let me know. Thanks for adding to your podcast.